Well, hi there, Scott Swinford, and we're here with our first version of the Ask the Expert series. Today, I've invited Bob Fugate in from Duneland Home Inspections.
Hello.
Hi, Bob. Thanks for coming out. I appreciate it. Part of the real estate transaction is it's important. We have the things that we do as lenders. We have the appraisals, the underwriting, all those things. But one of the most important things, I think, is getting a home inspection done. And the home inspection is for you as the borrower. So, Bob, if you would, take a few minutes here and kind of explain what a home inspection is, maybe what it isn't, and some of the things that you're looking for that's going to benefit the buyer.
Well, first, it's important to understand that all homes have issues. Even brand new construction will have some issues. And then you're also buying a used item, even brand new. But I always use the analogy that if someone were buying, let's say, a used car, you usually go out with a certain make and model in mind. And when you find one that you like, you're looking at it. If there's a couple scratches on the paint, that's not necessarily going to deter you from purchasing the car. But let's say that vehicle has 4 bald tires. Now you have something that's kind of a major deal that you're going to use to leverage and renegotiate the price of it, and that you would want addressed. Either they come down on price, you negotiate, for example, or they just put new tires on it for you before you purchase it.
Good.
So same thing with the house. You're buying a used item. There are always going to be issues with it. It's just to what degree are those issues in importance? And a large part of my inspection process is walking through with the client or with the buyer on the home and making sure that they understand the difference between something that's major that could be that could potentially be a bigger issue down the road or is an issue right now. For example, something structural. Maybe a foundation wall is failing, or there's water in the crawl space. Those type of things are things that require immediate attention, as opposed to the smaller things like perhaps maybe the hot and cold on the shower diverter are backwards, so you're turning it to the right for hot instead of the left. Something simple like that is more of a maintenance type of item. But the inspection itself is a snapshot of the condition of the home on the date of the inspection.
Excellent. And so you're looking for things that could potentially fail later on that the borrower should know about. Any things that could be a safety hazard, maybe a sanitation hazard, like, hey, the water doesn't run, you can't wash your hands, etc. What are some common things that you see that might be easy fixes, but sometimes the buyers think, wow, this might be a deal breaker, but for you, it's like, this is something that's not a big deal.
It's common to find, for example, let's start on the exterior, caulking around doors and windows. That's a very common place to find either missing or deteriorated caulking. And I'll always point it out, and because it's a potential point of water intrusion. If you ignore it and let it go, then it could turn into a mold or wood rot issue on the siding of the house. But again, I'm always letting them know that this is just a maintenance item. It really just takes some time to scrape off the caulking, put a new bead down, make sure it's nice and sealed, and you're fine. So the inspection report is going to have a lot of that stuff in it. So it's not, when you get the report, you're not looking at, let's say, for example, 20 pages of just things that are wrong with your house. It's just a snapshot of the condition, just so you have a good overall picture of it.
Good. And normally when you do this now, you're not out there trying to kill the deal, I would assume. And
Right.
I know there's agents that sometimes say that. Well, this home inspector likes to try to kill the deal. But that's not the reason that you come out. It's really to let the borrower know or the buyer know what they're getting into. We've joked around a few times with some of the inspectors and say, well, the doorbell doesn't work, so you should ask for a new furnace. when it's not the case. And the agents understand that. They're looking for major mechanical or major foundation or structural issues, or things that could be difficult to be fixed. Or Bob is also going to point out some of the smaller things that may be like that, like, a year from now, if the caulking's not replaced, could it be causing structural damage or wood damage that has to be replaced or cost you a lot of money when you can, take an hour, scrape it off, and put a fairly inexpensive tube of caulk on it to make it better. So these are the things that we rely really on the home inspectors for. I do want to throw one thing out there is I've had several of my clients in the past say, well, I have a friend who is a builder, or my dad or my uncle, he's bought a lot of houses, so he really knows what to look for. I have to say, someone who's been trained and who's licensed and who does that is probably in a little bit better position. Bob, are there things that you see that maybe the average, even if it's an investor or a builder or someone, may not see through just the additional training that you have?
Well, maybe not so much from the training, but it's just from the experience of just seeing such a wide variety of houses, from brand new construction to over 100-year-old homes. And you just develop this picture of kind of things to look for, different types of houses. You can go straight to an area of the house to see if there's any damage there. For example, under sliding glass doors, usually, I shouldn't say usually, but they are a common place to find water intrusion if they've installed the sliding glass door themselves. It just seems to be a sensitive point for water intrusion. So I'll make sure I take a close look at that in the crawl space or basement, however I can see it. So just kind of things like that. But
excellent.
But back to your point, though, about the major and minor items, my report format will actually put the major items up front. And then the full report, they can toggle back to that. But I always remind them at the end of the inspection, here are the big things you need to be concerned about. And then also when they get the report, the summary section up front will have just the major big items to focus on, to help them focus on the right things.
Excellent. So your job really is to protect the borrowers, the buyers of the home.
Right.
Excellent. And now if you understand from listening to Bob why he's really my go-to guy when I have questions, because I know he's going to be upfront, he's going to be honest, he's going to be fair, and that's really what we're looking for. So if you're planning to buy a home, or even if you're getting ready to sell a home and you want someone to go through it to see if there's some issues that might come up during the sale, I would definitely reach out to someone like Bob and have him come out and explain that to you. Bob, once again, I really appreciate you being here.
Thanks.
We are going to have some additional videos here in our series of Ask the Experts featuring Bob. So please kind of watch us as we release them. But the idea is to help you better understand what a home inspection is and what a home inspector can do for you. So again, I'm Scott Swinford, Bob Fugate.
Thanks.
Bob, thanks again for being here. I appreciate it. Folks, watch out for some of our other videos in the series. We'll talk to you soon.